You're live, Chair.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this North West Area Planning meeting. Today's 6th of December 2023. I apologise for the late start. I'm afraid we've had a few technical issues, but we are now fully plugged in and ready to go. My name is Councillor Maddie Thompson. I'm the Vice Chairman of this committee and sitting in for the Chairman, Councillor Mark Durham. There are a few housekeeping issues to run through. We are streaming this meeting live as well as recording, and by being present in the meeting, you are giving your consent to being recorded. When invited to speak, please turn on your microphone, speak clearly, referencing a page or paragraph number when referring to agenda papers, and ensure your microphones remain off when not speaking. Finally, can I draw your attention to the notices on the agenda papers regarding the different levels of floor within the chamber, and advise that the fire exit is the door behind the top table. Members, may I draw your attention to the members' update with further information on the items on the agenda, including specifically item 5 has been withdrawn by the applicant. So, Mr. Jones, can we have the apologies for absence, please?
Good evening, Chair. We have apologies for absence from Councillors Durham, Morgan and Whiffin. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Right, item 3 is the minutes. It's recommended that the minutes of the meeting held on the 8th of November, found on pages 7 to 10, are approved as a true and accurate record. May I take them as read, members?
Agreed.
Okay, I so propose. Could I have a second, please? You're too swift. Any matters of accuracy? Okay, can we agree by assent?
Agreed.
Some of us already did. Thank you. Right, item 4 is declarations of interest. I have to read this, I'm afraid. To disclose the existence and nature of any disclosable pecuniary interests, other registerable interests and non-registerable interests relating to items of business on the agenda, having regard to paragraph 9 and appendix B of the Code of Conduct for members, and members are reminded they're also required to disclose any such interests as soon as they become aware, should the need arise through the meeting. Members? Okay, nothing from there. Okay, so we move on to what would have been item 5, our first planning application. That has, as I said, been withdrawn. So the next item is agenda item 6, land adjacent to Thornfields, Purleigh Grove, Cold Norton. There's a member's update in relation to this with a note on a change on paragraph on the trees. And the presentation is Mr. Marsh on Teams, please, when you're ready.
Yes, would you like to read out the update?
Please do, yes, I think that would be helpful.
Yeah, it's only one paragraph, so it's paragraph 5.9.1 on page 36 of your agenda. It should read, the site is bordered by trees, particularly on the northern side, where there is potential for these to be impacted by the development. Whilst the council's tree consultant has advised that there is limited likelihood of direct impact to retained trees, he has highlighted that the main access route into the site is within the root protection areas of a number of trees of a significant size. He has therefore objected and recommended that an arboricultural impact assessment is submitted as part of the application. However, the access road has already been approved by the appeal decision for application 2100397 full, which is an extant fallback position. It is therefore unreasonable to require an AIA prior to determination of the application. Notwithstanding this, a condition is recommended that requires separate approval of details and specifications for hard and soft landscaping, including planting details. So I'll go into my presentation.
Yes, please, thanks.
Thank you, Chairman. So this is an application for 2 detached dwellings on land to the rear of Thornfields, Purleigh Road, Cold Norton. The proposal follows the recent appeal, which was allowed for a very similar form of development, and as set out in the report, there are a number of differences which I'll run on to in a minute. So this is the location of the application site as shown on Google Earth. It's approximately 670 metres to the east of the village of Cold Norton, and there is a footway along Latchington Road which provides access for pedestrians into the village. The application site is here outlined in red, as you can see, is behind the Londis supermarket and an existing development on Latchington Road. And where I'm pointing my mouse now is Purleigh Grove, which is the 140 metre long lane that is accessed to the development from Latchington Road. This is an oblique view looking to the east, so just reminding this is Purleigh Grove here. Thornfields and Imps Camp, this property here, the two neighbouring dwellings, and the road will access road will come in between the gap between the two, and there'll be involve the loss of a small stretch of hedge here, and then moving into the application site. So, which is outlined in red on this plan here in the usual way. So this is the proposed site layout plan with the access road I just referred to running along the boundary of the site, and the layout includes the planting of a new hedge to separate the two proposed properties. On this plan, the previous approval is outlined in a red dotted line, and you'll see one of the main differences is the carports, which are now positioned between the two proposed dwellings, as opposed to in these positions here to the side. And the dwelling on block 2 has been rotated slightly further to the north, and the applicant's given a reason for that to provide better views of to the south. So you can see the long gardens to the back of the properties on Latchington Road, which are shown on this plan as well, which is the previously approved scheme with the two dwellings that I've just described. And the proposed elevations you'll see in the slide to follow are very similar. The main differences being the introduction of a dormer roof on the rear elevations of the two properties, and a porch and a number of Velux roof lights. This is because, unlike the approved scheme, which you see here, the proposed development includes accommodation in the roof space. So these are the proposed elevations here for the two dwellings, which are, as I said, very similar to those approved, but also to adjoining development, as we'll see. This is the proposed street scene of the two new dwellings, and the proposed carports, which do include accommodation above, with one of the differences is the introduction of the stairs to provide access to that accommodation in the roof space of those carports. This is the neighbouring development I referred to, which the property known as Nathido, which is to the west of the end of Purleigh Road. So moving on to the site photographs, this is looking along the Latchington Road to the west, with Purleigh Road situated here, and then looking in the opposite direction, the entrance into Purleigh Road here on the right. And then moving in and changing seasons, we're looking down to the garage for Thornfields along Purleigh Grove, and that's looking into Purleigh Grove from the Latchington Road. Then once this is into the site, looking back towards Latchington Road from Purleigh Grove, and then you remember when I pointed out on the aerial photographs, this is where the access road will come in between Imps Camp, this is this property here, and Thornfields, a new property on the right, which is shown here in this photograph with the proposed site behind. So moving through there behind, this is the application site. You can see here the countryside to the south, and then this is the established hedgerow, which forms the rear garden boundaries to those properties on Latchington Road and forms the northern boundary of the site. And that is the end of the presentation. If you don't have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you. And the recommendation is for approval?
Recommendation as set out in the report is for conditional approval.
Okay. And can I just check that it's condition 8 covers the matter of the trees? Or do you need or do we need an extra one? In which case, do I have to?
As explained, the inspector didn't refer to trees in his consideration of the application and granted permission. This development has a very strong fallback position. The permission is only a year old. Understood. So that's why I explained in the update as to being unreasonable to require an arboricultural impact assessment, but the condition does require a landscape planting scheme. I understand that, but that's what I was talking about. That condition 8 covers that. Or if not, do we have to do something different? Should this be approved? Mr. Johnson. It's covered. Okay, thanks very much. Right, sorry about that. Members, Councillor White.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I have to say, if I'd known that there was only one item on the agenda, I probably would have withdrawn this one. But I actually wanted to look into it clearly here because I've had an awful lot of emails and phone calls from objectors And I've also had emails and phone calls from the applicants. So I obviously did know that it was on an appeal site. It had been subject to an appeal that had been won. So from that case, it can't really be turned down. But I wanted to see what we could do to make condition 5 more robust. And again, with the trees that have already been mentioned, because the neighbours who are in the barns next door said since the last house was built, there's been a lot more flooding. So how can we tighten that up so there isn't more and more flooding? Because obviously the more grassland that we're concreting over, the more of a problem it is. And can we make sure that the planting is really, really robust? And this is what I wanted to debate, is how can we make it better for the residents that are already there? Because obviously they're very upset. And I know we are between a rock and a hard place, but what can we do to make the approval better? And I mean, I also know that they've already got permission, so adding dormers, roof lights, anything else, that's neither here nor there, but it's how can we make it better for the existing residents?
Mr. Marsh?
Well, personally saying with regard to drainage, you see the condition does require a detailed drainage scheme, and we can't require the developer to make or improve an already bad situation, but what they must do is not make it worse. So that condition will make sure that the surface water situation is not made any worse, and you can't refuse an application on the basis of the application will address the drainage requirements and make it an acceptable scheme in terms of sustainable drainage. With regards to the planting, again, that's a condition which, when the condition comes in, obviously we'll look at that closely to make sure that the planting scheme is robust.
Thank you. Councillor White.
I mean, is there any way that we could do, I know it's not in a flood zone, but a sequential test or something, just to really drill down on the discharge rates? Because it is a problem, and I just want to make it less of a problem as we can.
Well, the condition requires that they're going to have to submit percolation tests, so there's got to demonstrate that it's a satisfactory drainage scheme. So I'm not quite sure what you're asking for. I think that the condition does cover the requirements for a satisfactory drainage scheme, and not making the situation worse.
Understood. Thank you. Okay. Any other member? Okay. Well, the recommendation is to approve. Do I have someone who will propose that? Councillor Siddle, seconded by. Well, Councillor White actually spoke up as well as. Okay, those in favour? That's unanimous, thank you. So I don't need to ask those against. Thank you. Well, that application is approved in line with the officer's report, and you will be delighted to hear that item 7, any other business that the chairman of the committee decides are urgent, there is none. So members of the public, officers, thank you everyone involved, and I close the meeting at 7:47. Something of a record, I think. Thank you.